Welcome back to Wild Drama Stories, where you get all the drama from a safe distance. Timestamps are in the description box. Let's get started. Story number 1. Opie writes, Okay, I realized the initial amusing nature of the idea, and if it happened to anyone else but me, I'd probably laugh. I had to use a throwaway because this was/is one of the most humiliating experiences of my life. I'd hate for any of my friends or family to know the true reason why my wife and I are splitting up. My wife insisted on hiring a clown for my son's birthday, despite my protests because A, who the F hires clowns anymore? B, I have a not aggressive but present fear of clowns. I gave in to my wife because I love her. The biggest regret of my life. She was pissy at me all day. She disappeared during the party around the same time as the clown was on break. I'll skip the details, but I put the pieces together pretty quickly. I'm currently sleeping in the guest house. I just needed to vent. Edit. Since a few of you have been asking for the details, here they are. Okay. I'll try to keep my cool cause the whole thing feels so ridiculous and like I said initially, is humiliating. I had noticed they were chatting in the kitchen right after his break. He was making her laugh, which I guess he's paid to do. It didn't seem overly flirtatious, so I went about enjoying the party. Only to return to the kitchen, and neither of them were there. I wandered around the party looking for my wife, not too concerned with where the clown was at all. Anyway, I eventually found her leave the direction of my study, and she literally, this is where it gets ridiculous, had some clown makeup on her lip and cheek. She escorted me away from the study. A few minutes later, I was within eye line of my study, and the clown peeks his head out and waltzes out back to the party. He finished his shift, but he seemed more distracted than the first half, glancing over at my wife, who was clapping with the children. Once the party ended, I noticed something peeking out of the top of her dress. Now, with warranted suspicion, I took it out, and it was the clown business card tucked into her bra. That's when I confronted her, and she confessed almost immediately. I'd like to say I don't have answers to all the questions about the interaction. I wanted as little detail as possible about the act itself from my wife. I also no longer plan to stay in the guest house. Wow, Opie, I don't know what to say. I kind of get the idea that there were already issues in your marriage before this, but that doesn't make it okay for your wife to clown around. Let's get some comments. Someone asks, how old is your son? How long have you been married for? To this, Opie replies, our son is 5. We've been married 7 years. Someone else comments, I had a co-worker insist to his wife that I hire an Elsa from Frozen impersonator. He was sleeping with her for 6 months prior, and she was another co-worker. Sorry, but I have to agree with others that she was sleeping with this clown before the party. Someone else asks, why don't you want your families to know the real reason for the split? It sounds to me like you're taking responsibility for her decision. It makes her look bad, not you. Opie replies, my ego, honestly. Let's get 2 more comments and then we move on to story number 2. Someone comments, put things in place to end. You cannot fix it if you're not ready to end it. The fact that she chose to humiliate you is a bad thing. Did she show any remorse? Or is it, quote, all in your head or your fault, unquote? Cheaters like to flip it around. Just so you know, your son will be better off with 2 stable households than one tainted by infidelity. Perhaps look into therapy for yourself. Separate your finances. Grey Rock and 180 is your friend. Others have suggested this was not the first time, and her brazen actions support it. Opie replies, she hasn't been entirely remorseful yet, but I think she doesn't expect things to fall apart. But I don't think I can look at her the same. You are absolutely correct in all you've said, though. And a final comment. Sleeping in the guest house? Bro, are you by chance wealthy as hell and married a gold digger who doesn't love you? Opie replies, I can never truly know if she was only with me for money. I am willing to doubt it, though. Story 2. Opie writes, we have had problems for the past few months and got separated for a period, but we're back together now and thought we had things under control again. He woke me up 5 a.m. the other day asking me if I'm sleeping with a certain acquaintance of ours. This acquaintance is a friend of my sister's, and she tried to fix me up with him during the time my husband and I were separated. I was never interested. I love my husband, and even if we were to get a divorce, it will take me a long time to get over him and start dating again. My husband was in a state that morning. After many long talks, he said he believed and trusted me. But today he asked me about installing cameras around the place. Quote, if nothing else, for my own peace of mind, unquote, was his argument. I refused. Am I in the wrong here? I refuse to have cameras watch me and my daily activities, but he's literally falling apart because of his suspicions. He thinks my refusal means I'm guilty. But I believe surveilling me is both humiliating and not going to solve the problem, because the problem is in his head. He needs to trust me or move on, but he thinks I'm ruining our marriage when it could be fixed with a simple solution. We love each other and we have 3 small children. Opie gave some additional information in one of her replies to a comment, and there she said that the reason they separated for a while was because her husband wanted her to have more children and be a stay-at-home mother. Well, Opie, I've got to say there are a lot of trust issues here. Definitely you need marriage counseling if you do want to save your marriage, but the cameras, it's just going to lead from one thing to the next. Let's get some comments from other people. Someone writes, if that, we have cameras outside the house at each entrance. It's a high crime area. That is enough. We don't have cameras in the house. To this, Opie replies, we don't have cameras, just alarm system. I don't mind outside cameras, even though the reason won't be for protection, but he wants to put cameras inside the house. The kitchen, the family rooms, and probably even the bedrooms. Someone else comments, is he still sleeping around? Any chance he got someone else pregnant? Someone that might be trying to drive a wedge between you? To this, Opie replies, no, he's not sleeping around now. I was the one who asked for the divorce and wanted to separate, so he doesn't think sleeping with other women, 3 in total, during that time is considered cheating, and therefore didn't hide it from me. He gladly told me in details about them. None of them is pregnant. Someone else says, time to get sister to talk to friend who is lying to fess up. Opie replies, I haven't spoken to the friend who told him I'm cheating yet. I don't know why she did it either. He believes her because she's a friend of mine and not his. And she's had a good insight into our problems for the past few months. Someone else comments, he won't ever stop. Please leave while you can, love. My best friend went through something similar. He even made her take a lie detector test to prove she wasn't cheating. Nothing ever was enough, and it was all projection in the end. Scary and abusive behavior. You likely broke up for a reason. And a final comment. Haven't seen this asked once. Have you ever cheated on him? And OP replies, no, never. Well, that's it for this edition of Wild Drama Stories. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, consider subscribing, and hit the notification bell. Until next time, wishing you a drama-free life.